We're back with Marshall Goldsmith. It's Leadership Talk. Marshall, a question about the new way of leading. You know, I grew up as a leader. I would call it presenteeism. We talk about absenteeism, people being away, but presenteeism I would define as people being in a room together and having a bit of bias as a leader to those who showed up. And that was pre-COVID, of course. Well, now we're moving into a new world where we're forced to learn how to lead across borders and also to coach. And we think about coaching. In my world, it was always face-to-face. And now we have to, again, deal with this idea of being separated physically. What are your thoughts on coaching and leading across borders?
Well, I mean, to me, let's start with coaching, and then we're going to talk about team building, leadership. If we look at the concept of coaching, I think what's happened is ultimately been very positive for the world of coaching. For example, Zoom calls. I've been on Zoom calls with you before, with your colleagues, where we work together, we talk to each other, you help each other. Really couldn't have done this in person. You couldn't have flown people in from all different locations. Every weekend during the COVID period, I worked with 60 people. We worked in groups of 6 or 8. We did Zoom calls. We talked to each other. These were among the most distinguished people in the world. We had people who've been the president of the World Bank and athletes and scholars and authors and CEOs and just amazing, amazing people. And there's no way you could have done this in person. So a couple of things. First is coaching. The coaching business is booming. And I think coaching works fine over Zoom calls, maybe better in some ways. I have a funny story. One woman is a therapist, is a friend of ours, and she told my wife, she said, you know, as a therapist, these Zoom calls has only got one problem. She said, in the old days, as a therapist, that person sit on the couch, I could look out the window, check out, not pay too much attention. They didn't know the difference. And now with these Zoom calls, I actually have to pay attention. It's obvious when I'm asleep. Right?
Can't fake it anymore. Yeah.
Can't fake it as well. So I think that, you know, from a coaching perspective, this technology works great. And the coaching business is booming. Coaching business is booming. I mean, I've done more coaching than I could ever do. I've enjoyed it. And the coaching I prefer now is the type of coaching I've done with you, where you're involving a group of people. You're not just talking to one person, and everyone's trying to help each other. So you're facilitating. And you can be doing this with people from around the world. I've been on these calls, coaching calls with people from 6 different countries at once. And it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Everybody checks in and everybody communicates with each other. So I think this is kind of a blessing in disguise for the world of coaching. What's made people realize you physically don't have to be there to do coaching. You don't have to talk to a person in person. You can be online. You can have these virtual calls. You can have 6 or 8 people at once. It works great. And I think the same thing is true in terms of team building. As a team builder, you can work with people from around the world. Here's a problem. One of the qualities of a leader of the future is going to be global thinking, globalization. You can't be in different countries in the same country at the same time. And just the travel cost associated with it is huge. So when you eliminate this travel cost, you get people all in the same call at once. They see each other's faces. They're talking to each other. I think it's a fantastic technology to work together to build teams for individual coaching. So I would say the coaching business is up, not down as a result of this. I think the idea of global coaching is better. And what I really love, though, more and more of my coaching is I help my clients help each other. Now, you know, let's talk about your experience. You've worked with me before. We worked with a fun experiment. We had, what did we have? A group of people.
Yeah, we had six leaders from very different backgrounds in India, and not all Indians, of course, but very different kind of dynamic group of people, I would say. And I'll tell you what, coming into it, I had no idea what to expect, because my notion of coaching was you had a one-on-one session with a coach, typically in person. And here we were all saying, nice to meet you on a Zoom call on a Saturday morning in India with you. It was a remarkable experience, remarkable. And by the way, all of us have become very good friends. We're in touch regularly. Some of us have met each other. Others are going to come and visit it to Japan here one day soon. So it's been a great journey. We continue even after the formal coaching was done. Actually, we would say it's just begun.
Right, exactly. And I think what's great is a lot of what my clients learn, they don't learn from me. So as a coach, I'm actually more of a facilitator than an expert anyway. If you look at my stakeholder-centered coaching, I just teach people to learn from everyone around them. And again, the majority of what my clients learn, they do not learn from me, they learn from everyone around them. Well, this technology easily enables you to do that. And then number two, my clients also learn from my other clients. So my whole LPR process, the work I did with you guys, you're learning from each other. And I would say, no offense to me, but you learn far more from each other than you learn from me. Mm-hmm. I'm a facilitator. I help a little bit. Fine, I'm not putting myself down. I probably help some. On the other hand, you're learning a lot from each other that I'm just facilitating. I'm just facilitating. And also, another thing I just thought of during this conversation is when I'm coaching someone else, you're also learning. Mm-hmm. You're learning what I'm teaching them, and you're learning maybe that applies to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of like baseball. You're in the batter's box, and then you're on deck, and you know the other person's being coached in the batter box, and you're kind of waiting for your turn up at bat. And I was often thinking about how would I answer that question that Marshall just asked my friend. Yeah. So yeah, powerful stuff. Thanks, Marshall. Wow, times have changed. Crisis brings opportunity.